Yeah, let it go. Yeah, let it go. Yeah, me let it go. Master Jesus, let it go. Yeah, me let it go. Go, 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 go. Oh, let it go. I'm tired, let it go. Give your heart to Jesus. Let it take control. Just sit and worship. I know it hurts you, and I know it's painful. No way to wait, so you have to let it go. Your best friend is not your secret. Your wife is getting married to another man. Your husband are falling in love with another woman. Don't let it bother you. I say let it go. If someone overlook you because you live in zero, if they insult you because you don't have nobody, if they say you will continue to be a zobo, if they say you will continue to be a prostitute, if they say you will continue to be a beggar, you will not marry, you will not build your own children. If they say your knee is borrow, some nepo to meet it, mommy can say no, Johnny, ginger. Just let it go. Jesus will change your story. Let it go. 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 Lord, help me let it go. Help me let it go, man.
All right, let's make adjustment here. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. I am Alfonso Z. and Salt of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. Welcome to this event broadcast here. The Forum is an informative news magazine, comes your way right here on the Diaspora. Informative news outlet with our team of analysts, pundits, commentators, contributors, dissecting their views, making news headlines in Liberia. Stay tuned.
He would make a blessing overflow. To be the best and more the grace, he gotta pray more. The God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the God of mighty flow. But there is power in your blood. I want to give you praises. I gotta did the David did. They think I'm getting crazy. But love is how you make it, brother. May not be here. Say every time I sing, I'm on my knees, begging God for mercy. Thank you for your love, blessing, and forgiveness. You solved my problem, Lord. You took me from the wilderness. Not only you can see my struggle when I'm very stressed. So my papa bless me, then my enemy they get it best. No matter what the problem is, I just let it go. The delay is not your denial, everybody knows. Just keep on trusting in Jehovah, he will give you more. He took you from the grass, he can take you from the rock and roll.
How many of us are willing to let go right here on planet Earth, among other things? So we want to welcome our viewers. Our own man Mike Downs is in the West African state of the Republic of Liberia. Lady T, right there from Garden City. I would say good evening, welcome, David Johnson, Dorothy Savage, and Ali Ukroma. These are prime time viewers, listeners, and Odell Seward. Hopefully, I'm calling the name. Welcome to the show. So, our man Edmond Sana is just walking in. I'm Alfonso Z. and Salt of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. Let's get the ball rolling. Good evening, good evening. So I want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. I'm Alfonso Z, and so right here at the New England Bureau Desk of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. We want to welcome our viewers far near, wherever you are. I thank you for sharing your evenings with us. We appreciate your time is very, very, very much valuable. It's precious, and so without you, we can do this here. There is a reason this building is right behind me here. The first branch of government of the Republic of Liberia. Three branches of government work simultaneously to keep the functions of government, check and balances to keep it in place. Is that happening today? The godfather of the land came down the airflow of the executive mansion today to visit the free port of Monrovia. April, the month of April is sort of a reminded month for us as a people, as a nation. Very consequential month with all sort of drama. Where is this coming from? Is some sort of political bickering is factoring in what is happening? Who did not see this? But it was a quite fascinating event. I monitored the sister network television this afternoon, as we usually do. We all pop in here and there to know and to listen to what is going on. But it was a quite interesting conversation. So unfortunately, my own friend and brother, Kev, if I was in your position, perhaps I would pay a keen attention because there was some good information that was coming out, and he would dwell on that information to perhaps share those information with the government that he supports. He has all right to support the government that he supports. So our team of analysts, contributors, we're going to be here and we're going to open this microphone here. As usual, you're going to form part of the conversation. Rice. It's our staple food. The Liberian man eat rice. He can swallow the GB. He can eat the cassava. He can eat the plantain. Any other thing. The finishing line is right. If it is not there, if it doesn't enter the belly, I've not eaten all day. I say it, you say it, all of us, no exception. So, rice is very, very much important in our country. The news move in the directions of what make news, what is at the epic of the conversations or aimed in the city or town villages. It all started yesterday. Even some part of our last week, it was just filtering in. And by the time I left the airway last night, I began to receive messages inbox. No rest. Guess what? The people in Liberia, they are so informed of what is happening here. Uncle, they get a thing they call a company called Nobel. They are deliver food. They're in Liberia, but they know exactly what is happening. This is when we becomes important to our brothers and sisters. When things strike, I don't want bad things to happen in my country. But when the going gets tough and the tough gets going, so says the songwriter, then we becomes brothers, sisters, uncle, nephew, our pa, our ma. But when we are in good times, then we are being labeled. There's a stigma on us. They were not here when we were suffering. They fled the country. That's another hypocrisy. They want to come and take our jobs. Where is the job? We have been alienated. When they talk about citizenship, they say no. But if I were to make an educated guess today, you, brothers and sisters, USA, Europe, Asia, other parts of the world, you have sent thousands of dollars because of your kindness, because of your goodness, because we all love our country. What are your mom, pa, all of your children here? But guess what? You have people that you associated with in the past, churchmate, neighborhood, school, and all of that. So you don't want to see your people starving. Neither me, I want to see that. But they become more submissive to us. When things go into derail, we need to tell them, we need to remind them as well. They are our brothers. It is by the grace of God we are here, and a lot of innovations and interventions is taking place. My credit card said even bounced today. Don't let the liberal hear it because you're going to run with it. Because I tried to throw him back. The sleeping dog, the father of the land, His Excellency George Manawia, came down the airflow. Yeah, it's election season. Is this a political motivations? Why it is? What did the government make? Those who were responsible to what they don't care. Why we always like to manage crisis when we can't even effectively manage crisis? I have a team of guys here. We're going to be talking that conversation. We're going to be having that with other news making headline. But in the meantime, let's get a ball rolling. Oh my goodness, this conversation going to go downhill. He's here tonight. I will be right back. Okay, time check here is 8:15 Eastern Standard Time. The clock is eating away. From Atlanta, Georgia, senior political analyst of the Liberia Public Radio, Amos George, is here to have our conversation. Standing by from Atlanta, Georgia. Also from Saxton, Sacramento, he's been on the run, but he's been provoked and he's here tonight. The liberal progressive, Samson Waku Branto of the Liberty Party USA, he claimed to be because he does not want to be in the photo, or maybe it has some ability, or I don't know, I normally can't get brother. These and minimal going to be our conversation. Let me bring the guys here. Let's get the conversation going. But in the meantime, I developing to right now. Okay, let me bring the guys here. The former president of neighboring Burkina Faso, CFAZ, Blaise Compaoré, has been sentenced in absentia, according to France 24. Blaise Compaoré, you know what he did to his friend and brother, the late Thomas Sankara, almost 3 decades ago. He's been sentenced to life imprisonment. Let me bring in the Liberal Progressive. Let me bring in Amos George, best of political team, commentators, and analysts of the Liberia Public Radio. They are here to dissect, to have a conversation. Gentlemen, good evening and welcome. Mr. George, welcome.
Yes, sir. How you doing? And good evening, Mr. Tool.
Good evening, Mr. George. Mr. So, good evening to all the audience as well.
You've been missing in action. What's going on?
We've been doing some investigation of other issues that we're going to be talking about here. So we've been out in doing some serious, in-depth investigation and research at the same time.
Okay, good. I'm not sure. You sounding so nice, quiet, gentle this evening. I'm not sure what are we going to end on that note. Can we sound confident? Or status
Mr. So,
Starter of forces agreement.
I want you to understand there's no kumbaya here between you two and myself. There's no way I'm going to have a kumbaya moment with any of you. So please, let's start the show and let's get the ball rolling, please. I'm ready, and I'm not taking any bike seat to any of you here tonight as well. So please, let's get the ball rolling, because just disregard the kumbaya stuff here. That's not what I'm about. Let's go ahead.
Okay, let's go ahead. I'm hearing the President of the Republic of Liberia made some fresh appointments on April 6th. At the time, people are scrambling, but the government has to go on. No big deal with that. NASCO? Yeah, I'm waiting to see one of these days my name to be in the photo or in that to be in the photo. Okay, yeah, so that's it. Well, let's start with the point here today. The president came down from the White House of Liberia. That's the fortified executive mansion. right? Something can make somebody to calm down. Let me ask the liberal here. He's been an old-time rock here at this rice business here. And before that, and there's a lady that appeared on the sister network, Expo Television this evening. It was a fascinating conversation with vast knowledge. If I were in the position of Kev Hassan, I would have paid keen attention to maybe jot down notes and share those information with the people to go do some facts check-ins and to do some check-in to see how they can strengthen their thing. But anyway, he's the position to attack dog to also make sure that nobody goes ahead of the ruling establishment. Let's see. Okay, Guinea. Guinea found herself in crisis when it comes to rights in 2000. That was in 2014. So this whole rights thing here is being all around, and the government, like what we call built out here, they adopted a strategy to subsidize those in the business, right? And government pump good money to give it to those importers to make sure that everything is okay. And it was stabilized at the time to 11,000 Guinea franc, which is $4 US. These guys were to carry your pressure up again. They started with you already, right? Yeah. And because what they did at the time, they stopped upload from the capital country to other parts of the country. That claims the government attention. So when it comes to rice, it's just typical food as well. You don't just eat, how you call it, say, money calamar. No. Money calamar is rice anyway, but they also eat rice. Neighboring to like Cote d'Ivoire is one of the, 76 largest exporter of rice. I couldn't believe it. They send rice to France, Madagascar, Benin, and other places. What do we send? So let's have a conversation. It just came. These things it's not. It's not just something that is in the spirit. Before you see this thing happen, there's some sort of background talking or things happen. But the liberals, let me get a little bit quick review. Forget these people there. Let people speak their mind. Don't seize people's civil liberties. That's what this country is all about. Don't be freaking out because somebody don't like you. They will not like you because they don't like your thought. You are a liberal. You want to apportion people well. You guys don't believe in people working for their own. And so people are sick and tired. So let's have a talk here. You being an old right-hand guy here, when it comes to this right issue with in Liberia, what should we be watching out for? What should we be careful about?
Thank you, Mr. So. Once again, good evening. We're going to have a conversation here. Look, Mr. So, let's just put it to you strictly. As you correctly stated, I've been around for quite a while. It was involved in the 1979 Rex riot. I am quite familiar with. In fact, I'm reading some article here written by Dr. Famule about a tribute paid to Dr. Sawyer. And in this stuff that I'm going to be doing, hopefully Friday, he also mentioned the rest riot. Mr. So, the issue here is this. I think Liberians, I hope that by now they have gotten to a point where they should understand that if you like something, if something is yours that you like as a human being, you have to find means to be able to have it in abundance. You cannot like something and depend on people to give it to you. The people can use that against you anytime. And this is so with the rice issue. The war is over. Why is it up to this point? We're not going back to Lofa County, which was the breast basket for Liberia during those days. Now, Mr. So, Liberia is a land of law. Liberia is not a banana republic. A week ago, I got a call from a friend of mine and told me about exactly what is happening now. He said there's issue going. There's going to be a rice shortage here soon. It's not like there's not rice in here.
Artificial is that
Yes,
artificial man-created stuff?
right, right. He said the rice is here, but if you want to increase the price of the rice, because everything else is going up. Gasoline's going up, oil prices going up, everything else around here is going up. So the rice people want to increase their prices, but the government is saying no. You got to sell it the way it is. Now, as far as I'm concerned, the government have no right whatsoever to tell the importers of rice, people who you have already given permission to sell, people who you have licensed to import rice. If the commodity is in demand, the price goes up. That's just human nature. Simple. You cannot impose your will because you are the government of the Republic of Liberia, impose on the importer to say, don't take the price up. You can negotiate. You can negotiate by saying, look, okay, whatever price you're going to take it up, those who are going to be supplying, you supply to the seller. And we ourselves, as government, will subsidize the sellers. Say, for example, if you're going to sell the price, which is now what, $13.50 or so, US, if you're going to sell it $12, that's 50 cents more. We will come up with that 50 cents to the seller so that that person can keep the price at $12.13. You can't do that. But to say you're not going to subsidize, and at the same time you're going to tell the people just to go ahead and sell the rice, it is unconstitutional. And I bet you that if they force their way, the government, the importers will put together. I don't care whether it be a Fuller man, a Lebanese man. I don't care. These people, they are importers and they are people who doing business in Liberia. They have full backing of the Constitution
So,
of the Republic of
do
Liberia.
you think this thing
Therefore,
is?
if you impose yourself on them and try to make them, force them to do, they can take you to court and they will win the case.
They will win the
Simple.
case. I'm going to be bringing the Amos George here, but let me just ask you: do you think this was just it was accidental? Was it done in absentia? The GOL did not see it coming. Do you think there was, some sort of conversation that took place behind the scene, and maybe the cameras were off, and so we just didn't get exactly where it reached her? Because was it saying last week there was some sort of demonstration thing at Vatan or Clariton, correct?
Yes,
But it's
Mr. So the chicken has come home to roost. Simple as that. This government, not just this government, Liberian government, I believe, I've been in the pocket of those importers. They give them kickback and hoping that they will be silent on all the many issues they do. Now here is the time. Dr. Weir is a student of history. Dr. Weir and his people, they know fully well what rice can do. Rice issue can affect the political scene of the Republic of Liberia. And therefore quite aware of that. They know the election is coming up. So if you take the price just 5 cents on a cup of rice, it's going to affect the people greatly. My
yeah.
son called me, Dad, we don't have no rice. I said, there's rice. I told you the story. That's right, but the government have an issue. I said, well, then we back the government. Well, of course you can back the government. I agree with you. But the government must negotiate, Mr. So. The government cannot impose their will on anything.
Okay.
Not in this case.
Okay. Let me turn to Mr. Amos George, is another critical thinker. Mr. George,
Yeah.
the Liberal is trying hard to make a big comeback after he abandoned, deserted, and everybody was like cheering up. Yeah, this guy, like he takes some break, like he take a time off because he came from Liberia and he been sounding so ridiculous here. But he trying to make a big comeback here this evening. So this rice issue here, what should we still be talking about? It brings me to the point. Victor, our guy, he's going to be joining us here right on top of the hour at 9 o'clock. It tells me we in the media industry, Liberians, lazy supporters who do not want to talk the issue, We are not, these people who want state power, they are not coming clear cut to explain their policies. But we are so much enticed with this sort of dramatic. And I was just talking about that today. Their infrastructure, agriculture, even though it's not something commerce is in charge, but it's part of our productivity to production services of the country. In a country, we know the history of the collapse of the Soviet Union. If you can't feed yourself, you can't have visiting, you can't go to war because, believe me, it's just going to be on a short term. I want to bring it back to these politicians, right? It's 100% political in Liberia. We know the history. And that's what I decided to bring this bit in here. They are men and women that have oversight responsibility on autonomous agencies in different sectors. Yeah. Who didn't catch this? Why? Why should we be talking about it? I took a review of the budget. Hmm. I was just making reference to the 2004 Guinea episode. And government came out to subsidize, right, these business people to get, what do you call it, rice is their kind of staple food there. And when I listen this, even yet, what are, if it is still far, those that are the importers, what is the exact number, how that arrangement is made. But finally today, the father of the land came down. Let's listen to this, and then you will get a sense of what we are talking about. Just bear with all the audio, but okay, let me hear. You come here. You come here. My microphone. You come here. You can ask the people where you say right now here. You come here. That is the principal deputy to the president of the Republic of Liberia, Nathaniel Falamagi. That's how Eugene Fagon called his name. You come here. You can talk to people. You say resident in Liberia. Are we finding the solution?
Best Mr. Minister Nathan Manke is one of the inept ministers in our country. Yes, the thing here. They are not being sincere. What happened was they were just laughing or joke to me. The president said the price of rice would never be increased. And what he said, never be increased. Is that a realistic statement? No. He did not even elaborate why it will not be increased. Right now, as we speak, there's a global inflation around the world, everywhere. You know, in this country, what we're doing here. The food we eat, the gasoline, the food we eat, everything going up. Inflation here is about 7% or so. Now, in Liberia, we don't know. I know it's hard. And you're telling me that the people, the importers, will buy the rice at a higher cost, and you expect them to sell it the same price in Liberia? When you see the effect of the global inflation all over the world, and you're telling me that, oh, the people will sell the rest, the price will sell it for, and they buy it for more than that. The question, and this is why I tell the journalists in Liberia, why they did not ask this question. Mr. President, how much the importers are paying for a bag of rice on a wholesale market? How much they're paying for it?
Should it be directed at the president or the minister?
He was there. He went there. He said it would not be increased. And if it would not be increased, what is the price that they are paying to bring in rice? You have to explain to the people. You know, the Nataya Mangil, they have to wait. You have to tell the people. If you say you want to keep the right at that price, then of course you have to tell the people, we're going to subsidize this rice. Because if the man is paying $15 and you are paying $14.50 for the rice to bring one bag of rice in, and he's now paying $15, so that means a 50% increase. That 50% increase will be passed to the consumer. So if you say to keep it at $14.50, then of course the government will subsidize the 50 cents to the importers. But there's no way in business you will buy a pen 50 cents and someone say, no, don't sell it 52 cents because it was 50 cents before, but the price going off from the producer. It doesn't work that way. So what I think they're doing here, they will have to subsidize that rice to keep it at the 13.50 or 13 whatever price. They have to subsidize it. If not so, the people will get in the street.
Wait, are you making a guess game? Let me bring in the
hold on now. Let me just learn this. I'm not making a guess, but that is a simple reality. The price of commodity all around the world has gone up. And if you say the people who bring that commodity in, it should be kept at that price, you have to subsidize the importer. And Mr. Labor, I disagree on that the seller, the one should be subsidized. No, the seller buys from the importer. So what you do, you give the whatever, if that tax breaks, you give it to the importer. So when they bring it in, they will give to the seller at that price that they will sell it. But you can't pay the money to the seller. Then it means that the seller, when they go buy from the importers, they will have to add additional money to buy it. So if anybody will be subsidized, it should be the importers. That's what the government should subsidize it. When they bring it, they give it to the seller, the retailers, then they keep it at that price. That's all I'm talking about. And one thing I didn't see, you see, there's a problem. I didn't see the Minister of Commerce.
Okay.
The Minister of Commerce is supposed to be there.
What are your thoughts? I don't want the Liberal to start crying, baby crying that we gang on him, we don't like him, we sanction his voice and all of that. But let me just bring in a Liberal. The Liberal Progressive.
Yes.
The guy, he's trying to make the night miserable for you.
Mr. So, do I look like anybody that Mr. Joyce Central Right would make their night miserable? Please, far from it. Both of you, by the time the night is over, will come my way. There's no question. Look, Mr. So, let me just put it this way. I don't really care who's going to be subsidized. As the Central Right correctly places it, if it's an importer, that's fine with me. My point here is this, and let me be a little bit ridiculous here. The government, first of all, if I was an importer on our White House, I'll kick the president, whoever it is, kick them out and close my door. That is a private entity. You cannot have, unless you have a search warrant, unless a crime has been committed on my property, you're not coming here and try to make mockery out of my commodity. No. Like I said, these people, not just this government, many other government have allowed themselves to be the stewards of these importers. So now it's coming back to hurt them. If they have been straightforward with these importers from the beginning, the importer would have gone straight to the government, knowing fully what the price was changing, knowing fully what that they're getting ready to massively import rice, which prices have already going to be affected. You have that discussion with the government. But why would they not have a discussion? Most likely, it's like, well, whenever they say something, we'll just give up whatever we have again, and it will be in business as usual. What many of these importers perhaps don't realize is that it's problem in Liberia, usually a political issue in Liberia that affect most of the political parties that are in office or that are in control of the government. Usually it's rice, food. And the fact that Dr. Ware and his people are students of history. Look at the picture you just showed. Look at the composure of Samuel Twe. Samuel Tua usually in these kinds of gathering, he feel like he knows everything more than anybody else, and he talk blah blah blah. But just look at the way he has his hands in his pocket. He knew exactly this is not even a place for them to be. Let alone ICE trying to say, look, you said no rice here. That's not what they're saying. Rice is here, so what?
So
we're not selling it. You want to buy it our price. And if you don't buy our price, we're not selling.
Yeah, I tried to get in touch with the Director General of the Liberian News Agency, even though it's a state-run news outlet, but he was on a live feed today. The exhibitions of these warehouses of rice in town, rice not in town, here is the rice is being displayed. What was that meant to do what? And coming back to the president statement that was George is kneeling the president. I clearly was a political statement. On what basis that it would never go? Because time is evolving on a daily basis. The world is changing. Things that even right here, I know in the US and other parts of the world, things happen, and that's how the situation dictates to A, and things go off. So why? But my guess here, there should be some sort of field dialogue behind the scene that did not come out within the public cycle to get a clear call as to how things are happening.
The president knows exactly what he's saying and why he's
saying it.
The president is in contact. I believe the president is in contact with most of the importers, and when he make that statement, but watch and see, there will be some importers that will say, okay, for now we'll let it go, but next time that's the kind of thing will not happen. That's exactly the kinds of excuse they're going to give. If they want to play hardball, the president and his executives stand no chance unless they're going to come out with some sort of a formula for subsidizing the process. Simple. Mr. So, look.
I try to review the budget. What provisions, and I know it might sound insane to the people, not to interrupt you, why can't we, when it comes to these basic and most needed, we'll talk about the rice, we'll talk about gasoline, and maybe other few things here. Why now we can make provision? They are 30K and all of that. Why not they make provisions if they have a group of 5 or maybe qualified importers? Listen, we are talking about rice. Yes, we cannot exclude that. Yes.
Mr. So,
why not they have some sort of backup plan if there's a way that government can intervene?
No,
Mr.
Anyway,
So, let me just take this here, and then I'll give the center right chance here. But let me say this here to you. This whole process is a joke. This government,
what is a joke?
This whole process of the government, the president coming up, there will be no increase in price of rice. For me, it's a joke, laughable, unless he has some sort of an inside track. But look, Mr. So, let's be serious. This government, majority of the people that are serving at a higher position in this government are people who grew up in the city of Monrovia. They are not Congo people. They are not people who their parents are so rich to the point that they themselves are far removed from the plebeians of the country. They are part of it. Now, they know very well. You come out with these kinds of government. Why is it agriculture has not been the #1 issue to be concerned with? Yes, the minister still will talk, hey, I got right, any man here the other day, let me be a real Liberian English now. Any man here the other day offering 400,000 to Yula. Maybe Yula will grow rice for them. What a joke. If you take that 400,000 and select few people in Lofa County. I
want us to call them, we don't exaggerate, we don't magnify, we don't add, we don't subtract. I just want for the people to know. He said it's going to be what, 300, and if there's a good thing.
400,000, go and look it up. 400K. Look it up. Now, the point that I'm making here, Mr. So, the point that I'm making here is this. If you take that 400,000 and do a survey in Lofa County, I keep referring to Lofa County because in the 70s, when I was growing up, okay, in the late 70s, when I was growing up, Lofa County used to feed the entire country. If you identify a few people in Lofa County and say, look, we're going to provide you with tractors. Please get us some rice. People in Lofa County will work and get the rice. They've done it before. The method is still there. Even the young Lofian themselves, they know how. And they are highly educated. So they will be willing to help. But what do? They start with burning Samikar as the way of trying to bring whatever it is they want to bring, which I'm not quite prepared to discuss that yet. And I'm just throwing
go there. You already trying to go there.
Mr. So I don't care. Bring it on. Bring it on. But let me finish. Let me land myself. So the point that I'm trying to make is this. If this government, knowing full well that you are the son and daughters of this country, there's no mix here and there. These are people right now, you go to the executive mansion, you speak Kran, you speak Kru, you speak Gribble, you speak whatever language, whatever dialect you speak, somebody there who is at a higher position will answer you. That's how close we are with each other. So this is, you cannot blame the Congo people on anything anymore. Anything that goes on wrong in our country is because of ourselves. Even those of us that are here in the diaspora. So this whole nonsense about Congo here and there is over. We ourselves are unable to govern ourselves. So perhaps we need to beg the Tui party to come back and lead us. Maybe we need to go and throw out some sort of a red carpet for Tui party to come back in, and perhaps it's going to be able to lead us.
Well, there's no guarantee that we're going to face. I would say then trusteeship probably will be there. But let me bring in Amos George. Mr. George.
Yeah.
So what are you jotting down?
No, listen, because I listened to, I saw that tape and some of the statement they were making, and what I did not hear from them. What was it? It was just a photo of Mr. So. Is that how we'll run the country? That everything we got to rush there to go to the warehouse, to go to the refinery? But those are two political commodities.
Yeah, wait a minute. There are other free thinkers out there. There are other seditions, and people been saying the president can't speak, the president can't address things. Is that commensurate with people talking?
Mr. Soldier, what happening? I one of those happened that the president does not speak. The president leaving the mansion to go to the warehouses to see. For me, he mean a damn thing to me. Yeah, what happened? Rice, gasoline, these are political commodities in Liberia. Why the president must go to the warehouse to show him one or two warehouses filled with rice? Is there any evidence to tell you that there's enough rice in the country because you saw two warehouses full? I told the person we are called a commerce minister and say, hey, let me see the records. How much rice we have here? Where's the data? How many rice were brought in, when were brought in, and when we're going to be finishing? Right there.
Why rice is not in circulation? What is going on?
So what they did there, they do not do a damn thing. Where's the data they're speaking from? They show you two warehouses. Rice is there. But do you know how much rice is consumed on a daily basis, a week, and a month? The only thing I can show you that is the data. And who has it? It's the Ministry of Commerce. So why the Minister of Commerce could not speak to the public first or go and brief the president, Mr. President? No, there is rice here. Here is the data. Call the importers. That's how a responsible government will do.
The president said...
Listen. You got the red. Okay, the red is available. But then, affordability is available. But who can buy it? Those are issues that they needed to sit down and address. So going to the Freeport there is a photo for me. Because the person did not speak of data, nor the Minister of Commerce did not speak of any data. So are you seeing that?
Your argument here is going the same directions of that. Yeah, okay, go ahead. And I'm going to bring that.
Are you saying that just to make a pronouncement that the price of oil will not be increased and that will automatically solve the problem? No. Mr. President, you're dead wrong. I said one or two things. Either you subsidize that product to keep it at that price. Because you know why? The rest the people brought in now, they cannot sell it for that price again. Because you know why? They will have to replenish what they sold. And to replenish the price has gone up. So if they don't sell it for a price that will compensate for the price increase, they will be losing. And who businessman will do that kind of business? So the government, what they needed, I know maybe they will go back to the drawing board, is to subsidize that product. That's what needs to be done. Other than that, no mufta will call it.
And that's what Guinea did in 2004. It was a serious problem. And the government of Guinea did that. They agree with the importers and they subsidize it in that. So there was an agreement because it's sort of system exchange. We sit around the table, I put my grievances through, you put yours through, we'll look at it, the lost and gained, what is good for the citizens. That would be a government, will be a stabilized government as well. They came to that point, and the government of Guinea pumped in huge money to subsidize the importers, and the importers also agree that they were paying at that time was what 11,000 Guinea francs, which was then equivalent to $4 US. But let's listen. Something caught my attention on the sister network television.
Let me just tell you something. Remember when George Biden took over Newly, the rest business came up, and they had to, I think, the government had to subsidize that price to keep the rest at that level when they came to power Newly. So now, I think where they find it difficult again now to come back again to subsidize another price, that's where the trouble is coming from. Go ahead.
I don't know what are this is where the frustration comes into some of us. You guys are supporting Samson to Nyombi Kanga. I don't know whether she want to be president, vice president. You independent ANC guy, Cummings, and all of these people. He Liberty Party guy, sympathizer of Liberty Party, but he does support Joseph Boyka. Roll, 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 roll. You remember the guy who's singing the song roll, 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 and all of that. We are not hearing anything how to address all of these issues. They are aware, but there was a fascinating conversations on the sister network. I Spawn Television. Let's play some of these sound bites, and we're going to have a conversation.
So these were standing meetings to just monitor it, to review the data, and to talk to the rice importers.
Why it takes to have to get a license for rice, and do you think it's fair for the market for importers, or should be one of the 5 major importers? And how can someone obtain the license to import rice, the IPDs I talked about? Because from what I'm hearing from people is that there are some people who are trying to lace the business people to do this holding of rice and so forth, make it not available in the market. So you have a better understanding because you work in the Chamber of Commerce and Liberia and also with business people. So can you give us a perspective about this issue of rice, about the license to import rice, and how you obtain it, and who qualifies to get your license?
Totally, if there was a clear answer, there's no clear answer to that question, how do they obtain a license to bring in the rice? And let me say this, one, CDC, when CDC took power, they had the right, it seemed like their heart was in the right place to open up the market. Because that's been a question for a lot of Liberians. But why only 5 people can bring rice in, right? Now, when you do that, what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to have a plan to ensure that you don't run out of the rice. If you say 100% being import rice, you're supposed to have a plan. And the most, I mean, data is what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be keeping data. You're supposed to be reading data to make a decision. That wasn't done. And once you don't do that, then whatever beautiful plan you have to give, like bring people the opportunity to bring rice in, is going to go down the drain. I got a call when I was at Chima Commerce from someone.
Okay, gentlemen, data, 5%. And I reached out through a friend and brother because it was a fascinating conversation, and I hope to bring her here. I like to engage people with hair on their shoulder. That is to get some concrete is for the good for the country. If you go back to the other program today, there was a lot of good information. But as usual, our man Kev was on the defensive because he was defending the government that he loves. But I prefer him to have to put down some notes and go back and say, hey, someone's on the PF our network today. This is what I got. You guys need to go check the books. You guys need to do, somebody needs to answer a question. Yeah, there's a plan. That's what she's saying. There must be a contingency plan, even if there are 5, on the part of the importers, as well as maybe also a contingency plan on the part of GOL. What happens 2 or 3 of the importers, something, God forbid, happens, and something is not in stock, and she was making a case, she was making reference with the case of Ebola. Nobody knew Ebola going to come, but there was something still in place. It's a time that will take a comprehensive revision. These guys, 103 men and women, Capitol Hill. I know the executive, the boss staff of the executive, but these people, they have oversight responsibilities as well. The functionaries of the government, the 3 branches must work simultaneously with different functions, but they must coordinate to keep the government functioning. Can we ask these people, when they got to know that something, people demonstrated the other day, that was a red flag, that was a signal, that was unusual. I'm not sure whether people were called in. If people were called in, what did they do to immediately put hands on this thing to avoid where we are today? Deliberate.
Mr. So, once again, this is our country, and it's very sad. It's very sad to see, because before, even here on my own platform, I used to say, oh, Liberians back home, perhaps they're not educated. So, no, far from it. These are highly qualified people, highly intelligent, highly educated. Many of them has master degrees all over this place. But the same issue here, you're talking about comments, it's the same issue you have with places, the public works, in other areas. It seemed to me that these people just do not care for any kinds of past record or data, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, this is what you're giving. Okay, finish. Okay, there's people will come out and say, oh, there's a fire that happened in our office yesterday. All the people then got burned or got started all over. You mean this days and age where you have terabyte, 1 terabyte, or all kinds of flash drive and things that you can't keep no record, that when they place something, people get burned, things are gone, you're going to start all over? This is laughable. Mr. So, I'm not too sure what is happening with CDC. But sedition, when it started, they were ready, perhaps, but they decided to relax. There's a booklet. It's called the Pro Agenda. And in that agenda, Mr. So, if sedition have taken their time and even make it law into their CDC emblem or whatever it is, to say in order for you to hold position in this government, You must read the pro-poor agenda from top to bottom. Mr. So in that pro-poor agenda,
in order to hold position?
Yeah, in order to hold any kind of ministerial position or anything, you must understand the pro-poor agenda. Because in our pro-poor agenda, the people that wrote that thing, it was like the blueprint of how this government was going to function. All of these things that we're talking about, they're all listed in that pro-poor agenda. For example, if an investor coming in, what are some of the conversations you need to engage the investor with? Number one, for example, if there's a project that is happening, what are the important documents you need to have, and where do you need to store those documents for future references? All of those things are in the book. When you're talking about future references, this is what we are. They cannot give us an account of what happened yesterday. You have these people going from store to store to even say these rice are bad, this other product is bad. Okay, if you're going to throw it away, if you're going to burn it, you have to keep record of what is this you're throwing out, why you're throwing it out, and when you're throwing it, when is this going to be thrown out, so that a future generation can come back and look at these things and perhaps learn from it if there's any mistake or whatever, to be able to fix it. We don't have that. So right now in Liberia, if you were to ask the motorbike people in Monrovia, they don't have license. They are not licensed. They only go and have their card, a little piece of paper that they say they got motorbike. You buy the motorbike, you got a receipt, that you're licensed. How the heck the government can keep track of who owns motorbike and what they're doing in the town? None. You don't have motorbike having registration? No, they don't have a license. You know, keke. So those are the kinds of stuff, and these are people that dominate in the city of Monrovia, and you don't have records. So what is it? The only thing I can say about our country, God is just good to us. God loves us. God loves us. Because if anybody wants to do bad things in our country, it's easy for them to do whatever they want to do. Because you have all these people running around, no record to show whatsoever. How do we get these things together, Mr. So? I think the president and his people need to, I'm not too sure if it's late, but they need to go and redouble themselves. I mean, the president, meanwhile, as far as I'm concerned, the president goes out and asks for a loan and asks for a bag for money and things like that. But those, I keep saying it, those who are around him that's supposed to implement these things are not doing it. And he, being a former football player, he knows the role that he played when he was a striker. You get the ball from the back, and they keep coming to you. Each one of the players participate in bringing the ball forward for you to score. It's the same thing here. But for some reason, this is not happening. You're going to be in an international warehouse like that, where the international community looking, everybody all over the world looking, and then you got McGill. Hey, I say, what one there? Hey, I say, what that some kind of Pancho play, selling Pancho here, Pancho there. Man, you take this serious.
Let's take a break, folks. We're going to be right back. I'm Alfonso Z, and so top the Liberia Public Radio. Stay tuned.
From the West African nation of Cote d'Ivoire, Liberia Public Radio and Television present Business Diary. This program focuses on the activities of business institutions and individuals in society.
I'm Jeremiah Zawu Senior, CEO of All Nation Bank. It has been very good to have this business established here. We are 1 year since we opened here in Anono. There have been few challenges here that have faced in this country, and that is all about the language. But here instead, I refuse to be deterred. I refuse to be discouraged. I open a business and things have been fine.
My name is Masi Bakari Nanga. I am finance officer working for an international organization. I have a master's degree in business administration. So today I'd like to take the opportunity to talk to you about the COVID pandemic and how it has affected the business sector in terms of me working in an organization, an international organization.
Don't miss out. Be my guest. It's coming soon on Liberia Public Radio and Television.
Okay, there's business Derek coming soon from the West African state of Abidjan, neighboring with Liberia. Our man Bent gonna be there. So, okay, let me bring you in here, George. And like I said, Madam Philip Duncan, to last name to Salamatu, to Farwell, we reached out to her because I think we need to learn, and that's what I said. We need to take this thing out of these people here. I didn't see whether there was some sort of major statement or press release after that visit, because usually once you go out there, there must be some sort of administrative policy or something must be adopted. I don't know whether there was a meeting with the importers, out of the parties involved, because I listened to a few of the live feed today, and there were some people who were trying to explain, and I saw Joseph and David. They may need to be taken away. Police taking their way. And whether he was taken further or they were just talking to have an explanation. I saw another lawmaker who said he was in disguise and all of that. The time you take to be in disguise, when the problem started, I think those people that were involved should have been called into. I don't understand, because these things, they might be little, but when it comes out within the public domain, it becomes a damage control. The time you're going to take it to fine tune, to fix, you could have used that time to sell or to engage into other things. But unfortunately, it's not happening. Pat George,
yeah,
it comes back to the point of our argument. All of these people who won't go to the White House in Liberia. Now, I hope viewers, electors, and the citizens too, they are getting the senses in their head that these people, we need to ask them. They need to tell us what they represent and how. Nobody should come tell me roll. Nobody can't tell me I'm going to create 5 million this and that job when the how is not explained. Look at what the opposition. Let's put aside the government, because they are equipping, so they can only defend their position to say, you know what, we didn't reach the one, in the coming time we're going to do it. But the opposition, are they having the engagement? They post themselves as an alternative. Can we also rely on them to address this issue? Are they talking this cold issue, or are we just in the entertainment industry? Yes, they are surrogates, they are package hosts or people who talk for them. They just entertain us. And things that matters to Liberia, to the country, to the people, less is being spoken about.
Mr. So, the opposition is in disarray. You cannot get anything right now from the opposition. They are in disarray. Period. Every day this go in court. Article Election Commission or in court.
What's something? Is he lying?
They are not. They cannot address any of the issue right now because they're trying to settle the horse issue and they won't come in here. And you talk to them, they say they cannot address all the issue because they have issue in the house. But that is not an excuse. These people will have to answer this question. This time we're not buying no pig in the bag. We're not buying no more pig in the bag. Got the going election. Some people said they will not take part in debate. And they said, I know. This time, you got to stand on that floor and the Liberian people will ask you.
Well, you carry a state trooper?
Eh?
Will you bring state trooper in to carry people on the
floor? No, because if you don't explain that, the voter will decide that if you can't tell me nothing, then why should I give power?
Okay, the voters. Are
But
the voters? Hold on 1 second, and okay, make your point. I don't want you to
yeah,
lose.
yeah. We talk about the Senate, and let me be clear on this to fair to them. The Senate is on recess right now. They are on recess, except the president called them, and that would be the emergency section. So once the Senate is on recess, those who have oversight cannot come to call the minister to talk anything. They are on recess.
But people
So,
they are house section,
but
so you're going to come anyway.
But if the president can call the speaker, can call the president pro tem and say, look, I want this done. Call your people, let it talk to these people. They can, the speaker can call, the president pro tem can call the members. But he cannot do that unilaterally. There has to be some backing, something from the president to say, hey, this has to be done. And to the issue of the importers, it's also government should not be in business. You are giving people monopoly, 5% to bring in this commodity. So if anything, when they said there's shortage, the first people is supposed to call are these people, the importers, and say, hey, call your Minister of Commerce. Hey, what is the record? How many records were brought in last month? And how much have been consumed? If it's not satisfactory, you call the importers. Hey, what happened? One, this quantity of food is here, rice is here, and it's supposed to be this number. Second, why is it's not available on the market? Let the importer tell you why the commodity is not being found on the market. That's why they got it in storage. But this thing, it looked like a dictatorship. You just come down and say, rest price will not go up. You're opening the, who said rest now? You see the rest here? Come on. It's like you're running a banana republic. You go show the, oh, rest, who said rest now? Is that a question you're asking? That who said rest is not here? They are talking about the availability of the commodity.
Okay,
and why is that available?
Okay,
The Minister of State, the President, that nobody, the Minister of Commerce, none of them addressed that issue. Why the rest is not, ask the importers, why the rest is not on the market? Did the President say so? He asked a question that no. Minister of Market, did he ask anything? No. Is the Minister of Commerce explaining to the President why that rest is not available there, but it's in the warehouse? No. So down there was just a photo off for me. Because nothing, maybe, I don't know, Mr. Alfonso, I might be seeing the wrong thing. But what did you get out today from the person going there?
No, don't put me in that.
No, I'm asking you. What did you get out from the person going there?
The liberal is rolling and spinning like almost like John
But,
McCain.
Mr. So,
let me just bring in. Okay,
the president did not tell the people why the rest is not available.
Look, Mr. So, we're here to have a conversation.
The Minister of Commerce did not tell the public why the rest is not available on the market. So, what was this thing? To go show bags, warehouse rest there? Yes. But the people cannot afford it. And why is that on the market? That is the question. I want the answer.
Okay,
and let's see the answer today.
Okay, maybe the liberal has the answer. Tony, you need to check your mail back. Okay, the liberal.
Yes.
I saw you like developing that somebody is in.
Yes. Mr. So, this conversation cannot continue without me coming out high on the central right. This government is not a dictatorship government. This government, the president himself has to have pushback on this dictator tendency coming from many of the people that we know. For example, benevolent dictator. For example, all of you here, I can fire anytime I want, and nothing will come out of it. That's coming from Minister McGill. But the president has not come out with these kinds of things. So please let us try to stay away from that D word tonight, please. I don't think it's going to serve anyway. That's your opinion. That's your opinion, but I don't accept it. That's your opinion. I don't accept it. I don't accept it. I'm not going to.
That's you.
Yeah. I know this government. This is a government of law. You might not agree with it, but I say so. Now, let me just say something here to you very quickly. In his eulogy to Dr. Sawyer, this is what Dr. Formula wrote. He said at the very end, he said, the people calls you champion. The people calls you champion well. They will make history, Amos. They certainly will after living through the betrayal and circumstances of exploiting group and classes. This is exactly what is happening. Dr. Formula is telling Amos Sawyer that the cause of the people has not gone in vain. These people will come up on top after you have all of the exploiting group go through the leadership. Good one will come. This is a good one that we're hoping that will come very shortly, Mr. So I tell you what. The thing here is this: Mr. George brought something out about the opposition at in disarray. It's Mr. George and you at the cause of this disarray that is happening in the opposition. You two have been championing this inept behavior of Mr. Comey coming here in this arena. Mr. Comey has come out and said he has no connection. And you two continue to insist that Mr. Comey should not come a second to Dr. Baka. Now, if the thing is getting out of hand, Mr. Central right here now going to say the Lpr is on the floor.
No, Samson, you believe in dictatorship.
Is speaking, Mr. George. Please, let's have the Lpr the opportunity to express himself. The point that you made, the opposition, Dr. Baka is not in disarray. Now, here's what you need to know. Dr. Baka is somebody who respects the rules. Dr. Baka is not going to have some sort of an outside government. We have a present government, duly elected. No, this government didn't come to power through the back door. So Dr. Baka respect that. Dr. Baka is not going to come and criticize just because they have a government that's supposed to function. If this government is not functioning to the best, then perhaps the Dr. Baka will come and make. But you can't just get up because of some issue that the government is trying to resolve, and then you're going to come and start criticizing as though you're forming a government in exile or the government on the side. Only the main thing I want you to take out of this before I end, Mr. So and Mr. Central Right, is the fact both of you on this platform over and over continue to support this idea. Oh, they're pushing Mr. Comey aside. Oh, they're making him to look at foreigner. It was Mr. Comey who told us that he has no connection to the Liberian people. And now you're going to say the opposition in disarray? Mr. Central Right, please. I'm not here for Kumba here. I will point it out if I see it.
I think you're missing the boat. You're missing the boat. Let me just correct you. This Alexander Cummings is being sued by Benina Ure and Joseph Boakai. Yesterday, Musa President took the UP to the Election Commission. It's not disarray. That's not disarray. What we are saying, if you believe in what you're saying, the democratic process, then why people cannot go to the convention and select who they want? But instead of you want to compromise to say, okay, you go sit and this. No, everybody have ambition. You say you want that, I want it, and there's a means that we can get it. Why we can't channel that? And when I said that the judge were there government acting like a dictator, this is what I meant. Let me ask you again. Did President Weah told the Liberian people today why the price of rice will not go up? Did he tell the people today why the rice is not available on the market? Did you see that today? But instead they say why the rice is there. Nathaniel Mangale telling the people, you say rest now, you say rest now. People are not your kitchen board. Not by Nathaniel kitchen board. That's how you talk to your kitchen board, if you have one. But because these people were never in the capacity or position to lead or to to administer anything. They just came from one room and entered the dining room. So now the dining room is so beautiful, they cannot handle the furniture there. They're confused because they've never been in that kind of setting. And this is why you see, this thing is crippling them, and it is sad because this is what the opposition is supposed to take and prosecute you guys. But
So,
yeah, they're in disarray, look, acting like they're children.
Yeah. So, so folks, this is Liberia Public Radio. We allow views and opinion to be expressed, but they are not the views and opinions of the management and staff of the Liberia Public Radio. I want to welcome our mentor, Anthony Gay. Gay, welcome to the show, and hopefully maybe Victor will be joining us. Before I bring in Gay, what was the Liberal saying, actually? Liberal. What are you saying? Why was I brought into this picture here?
Mr. So, you were brought into this because you've been one of those in here that continue to say the people are putting Kumi aside and making Kumi to be like a stranger.
What was your argument before I said that?
I said Kumi should go second.
They should go second. Who?
Second to Dr. Bakai, the
what
real
was,
president to be.
What was the method you were putting forward that he should go second?
Because Kumi do not have connection in Liberia. He told us that. And the fact that he doesn't have connection in Liberia, he can't win any election in Liberia.
You know what? You know what? You need redemption.
I am of the Mr. Soul. Let me just let you know once again. Your hair ain't failing my mom, my hair ain't failing your mom. I broke cool. There's nothing. Anybody can do nothing.
It's
now liberal, progressive.
Yeah, okay. Okay, Tony, welcome. Let me just bring you. I know you've been following here. This is where Mr. Bill Williams. See, the show is not balanced anymore, Mr. Soul. You have to find Mr. Zawolo to replace me. Okay.
Bring another CDC here. We're just fine. We want no CDC in this kind of mix.
Okay, Mr. Willie, yeah, it's the deal. Yeah, that's quite correct. And I think I said that yesterday. We have extended invitation. In fact, when I last time went to Liberia, I went to CDC airport or like the other party. Just how something to opposite me that I had Molo was saying. I said, oh, your guy is not the minister. Who can we get? The first thing that came from out of my is, oh, the man as superintendent, it doesn't mean superintendent can go on radio. He can stay. That's the best time to talk. Can you imagine? I'm like, okay, but if your guy decides, you can come. But again, like we said, these people, Mr. Gay, he's not here representing. We wrote these parties officially because part of that, we want to hold these people accountable. But we have come to also realize it's time to take this thing from the hands of the politicians because of political correctness statement. So if you're supporting Liberty Party, the Samson wing of the Liberty Party, no chairman, they don't have no chairman, they don't have no party right now. Ability is there. I don't know how they're going to do it. Nobody doesn't have a party. You can't be viable. Honestly, he and I agree. It would be paying in there. But let me break it.
Who is he senator for?
It's a different thing.
Oh, okay.
It's a different thing. You have to do it. Mr. Gay, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. So, and good evening to every one of you. The Liberal Progressive, good evening, sir. It's been a while since I spoke to you. But George, good evening.
Don't make friends with him.
Good evening to our followers and listeners as well.
He's not a good friend to ANC, so I don't see how
No, we'll have a very balanced conversation here. That's good. Look, deep down in the heart of the Liberal Progressive, he loved Mr. Cummings. It's the fact that, he even pushes that Mr. Cummings goes second to VP Baka. That speaks a lot that he really considered the man. First of all, he said the man has no connection, but the man should be second in power. So in case something goes wrong, that man going to be president, remember? So that tells you something. Most of them will say, I would rather Mr. Cummings go second, right? But they will say, oh, he inexperienced, he had not worked in government before, but they want to make him number 2. So, that's something that's been struggling with, but we'll get to that point.
Okay.
But, the trendy issue here is that commodity that is considered a political commodity in Liberia, which is called the rice, and number 2 is gasoline. But today, let's talk about the rice. What struck me today is that, first of all, President Weah got out of his comfort zone and went out there. But I walk out confused. We don't have any data. How much metric tons of rice do we have in the country today? How long can it last us? We don't know. all we saw is pictorials circulating Facebook, tons of different video, tons of different pictures of best of right well stacked in warehouse. It doesn't say anything. We want to know the metric tons of rice in the country. That speaks to, for us who are data fanatic, we can crunch the numbers and say, okay, you know what? This can take Liberia for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, or 12 months. Mind you, this is a staple food of the nation, and we import 95% of the rice on the market imported. This is a national security issue here. In as much as we call it the bread and butter or the political commodity as it is being described now, this is a national security issue. If people start bringing rice to Liberia, our people will starve to death. This is serious. So the president press conference lacked substance, lacked confidence, lacked data, lacked assurance. Because we don't know how much quantity of rice in the country. All we saw is bag of rice.
Okay, hold on right there. Is that a political line you're taking?
No, I'm taking a sanity line here because look, half of my family in Liberia, half of my family in Liberia right now. Very few of us here, but the vast majority of my siblings are in the country.
Okay,
and my mother is there as well.
All right, let's spin the boy.
When I talk about rice issue, it has nothing to do with politics.
Okay, let's spin the boy around. You know, here when we critique, when we point out where there's shortfalls, we also try to make recommendations, not necessarily for them to accept, but we also, that's another way of giving back. So let me start with the Liberal here, because two of you guys most likely will gain against the Liberal. He will add me into it because I'm always the guy he always try to get out, always try to avoid. The Liberal.
Yes.
What I didn't hear probably is in circulation now. Usually, and I'm saying usually from an administrative standpoint, when there must be a reason for which the president descend from the executive mansion to drive to the port of Monrovia. So it is my hope after the visit, perhaps some sort of statement, be a policy or some sort of administrative write-out, press release, in order to reassure people and not just him again coming for your answer people. That is ridiculous. That's not how you conduct. That's an unusual way of doing things. After that, I thought, or maybe it's there, and I don't want to be judgmental. I'm not saying this. So on the basis of that, I'm making an argument. I thought that maybe some sort of little bit, two paragraph or one in a succinct manner, following the visit of the president, the business or the importers and GOL has agreed, blah, 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 blah. That's a more or less proactive.
Mr. So,
I haven't seen that.
Mr. So, your Liberian people, you're hard to deal with. Your Liberian people, it's even difficult for anybody to govern you, to be your president, and that's small thing. You're so hypocritical on so many things. Your Liberian people, you're hard to deal with. The only kind of president you need in place there, the people like Jerry Rowling. We are not supposed to be your president. Let me speak the real Liberian English here this afternoon.
Come on, bring right?
1 minute. Oh, the president, we can't even see the president say something happened. The president don't show up. Oh, the other president, he just sit down, he move, he one, he this and that. The president shows up today. How critical things are, how bad things are in the country with respect to rice. The president decided to show up, to say to the Liberian people, I'm your leader, I'm here. He even went as far as saying, I don't agree with that statement, to say the right price will not go up. In reality, what he's trying to do is to assure the citizenry that no matter what, my government will do their best. I'm sounding like sedition here tonight, folks, but I'm just being
go ahead.
Nobody.
I'm being very honest. I cannot hide the truth. I'm not a sedition, but I cannot hide the truth. So the president coming out there to assure the Liberian people, which we always been hoping for, that the president, in case of these kinds of emergency, let him show up. So the statement he made, rice price will not go up. In other words, he is showing the Liberian people that the rice price not undermine leadership. We will do everything possible that this rice price doesn't go up. Now, everything.
Is that what he said?
No, I'm paraphrasing. I'm putting
No, I say you paraphrasing it.
Mr. Central Right, I'm allowed to do that.
No, I just asked you.
Mr. Central Right, I'm speaking.
No, I'm not cutting you off. If you're quoting the president, then quote what he said. I'm not quoting
the president. I'm not. If I were quoting, I would say, let me quote.
Okay, no, but you said you're paraphrasing it now.
No, I'm not. Okay, for that paraphrasing, I'm speaking for myself. So the president coming out to say the rice will not be no price for rice will go up. Now that also to assure the Liberian people that while I am president of the Republic of Liberia, okay, price of rice, I know the history of price of rice and rice issue in Liberia. Rice price will not go up. They have within them whatever they're going to take to make sure rice price don't go up, they will do so. So what is it you want that man to do now? The man sure he said he sounded like a dictator. The man sure he didn't care for the people. The man sure that he said the man sure, but the way he's talking, that kind of tone of voice, my people, where you want? Where you want?
Yes, what we want.
Where you want? You want it, okay? I don't know. Myself, I don't know about Joshua, but I'm not even the president. I'm confused.
Mr. So, 30 seconds. Let me tell.
No, hold on. Let's push it around. Yeah, what we're saying. It was a good thing for the president to get hands on what was going on. It's also, I mean, visual also helped in this business, and he went there. So what I'm saying, or what we are saying, after the aftermath of the visit, or is it on a short end or some tense conversation?
Get the president, y'all bro, you say, what? They think that happened today. You want result today? They think been happening weeks and weeks. Y'all get a people chance. The people went to the White House today. They showed the entire world rows and rows and rows and rows of rice. Okay, we all know now rice is in Liberia. That's for sure. Liberian people have assured that. The issue now is the price of rice.
Do you know the quantity of rice in Liberia?
The president is saying, the president said the price of rice will not be increased. Now, why can't we give him some sort of a latitude, my people? Why can't we give this president? I don't want the president to win re-election. I don't. I will do everything possible to make sure he doesn't win re-election. But my people, that our country, let's give the president even 1 or 2 weeks he's going to stay there, or 1 or 2 months, or whatever time he's going to stay there. Let's give him latitude. Let's see how far he can go with it. He came out and said, the price of rice will now go up.
Okay, before I go to Gay, let us not insert our own emotions or make it sentimental here. This is a critical issue you're talking about. You were talking about your son calling. My daughter too was doing, Papa, it did no rest or blah, 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 blah. So it's a very sensitive thing here. And of course, it's a political issue here. Not necessarily the president. I've been saying here, not necessarily. There are people charged with the responsibility to get their work done as well. Now, the president have gone there to see. The next thing now, he might most likely to be asking questions to the Minister of Commerce. Hey, what happens? I went to the place. I saw good number, good bags. Why is it not out? Why people are struggling?
That is what you call leadership. Let's give this man some time.
You see, you talking to Joseph, you preaching. I don't even know why you stand. One day you were boycott, another time you were Cummins, another time you.
Mr. So, you know me. Whatever the truth take me, I play a goal.
Okay,
take me not coming out to say I am not known in this country. I will say so. When the truth take me for Baka, not coming to settle this thing from the beginning, and it got out of hand, I will say so. Whatever the truth take me, I will say it.
Okay, to be honest, it was a good thing for he to come down, because it appears he knows the history of rice. For he to come down to see for himself, that will allow him to make a judgment. Anthony Gay, you wanted to come in. Let's take it, your opposition guy. So let's take it in the opposition drumbeat. Was that insufficient? the visit of the president? Is that something that is welcoming or what?
So, Mr. So, I like to take things very home. The liberal progressive, he's a civil engineer, so he understands road construction and other yeah. But Mr. Toll, something Toll will agree with me tonight that he will not talk about the reconstruction of a road without mentioning how many cubic feet of asphalt or cement they're going to use to build a given road. He got to get that data. Even if he's making a report or making a presentation to the highest bidder, he will make the case that, hey, this area we got to go with asphalt or let's go with cement. And this is how many metric ton or cubic feet of cement per inch, per quarter that will be put on this pavement in order for us to make this route, right? You can't come to the Liberian people, show up in a warehouse, take pictures, and act as though no one know why they went to Japan during the Japanese African Summit and Liberia came back empty-handed because they carry picture. They didn't show no data. If you show data and the data makes sense, you will walk away with big contract, big grant, and what have you. You show a picture. Oh, we got enough rice. 5 million people. That rice you show will it last 1 month? Will it last 2 months? Will it last 3 months? 6 months? Where are we heading? The war is struggling from pandemic. Here's the Ukrainian Russian war ongoing. We don't grow our own rice, and the country depends on rice. It's our stable food. Every Liberian in our country right now, the first thing first when they get money is a bag of rice. Even if they don't have soup, they want to get a bag of rice first in our house. Then they can struggle to get a soup later on. But the first thing first, you get anybody else 100-pound bag of rice right now, Mr. Soul, you will receive 2-3 paragraphs of gratitude. So we know what rice is to our country. It is our staple food. But the president cannot just show up, take picture, and we see bag of rice, and we think that's it. No regulatory message, no policy message, nothing of that sort. We don't even know the quantity of rice currently in Liberia. What is the amount of metric tons of rice do we have today in Liberia? How long will it last? What is the buffer zone that we have?
All right,
if anything shall happen today, like during the Ebola, there was enough rice in the country, even though the country was shut down by other countries, Ebola were closed, but rice was in Monrovia. Rice was in the country. Do we have that buffer zone today that we can go 12 months?
Okay.
Our rice coming to Liberia,
let me come in here quickly.
To depend on? Yeah. We don't know.
All right, let me come in here. This is Monique Kishen. Are you familiar with this name, right? Gay. Anthony Gay, are you hearing me?
Yeah. He said driving the MPA was another political stunt.
Okay, yeah, no, I say you're familiar with the name Monique Kishen, the general.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Lebra.
Yes.
You are part of the opposition. I don't know whether the CPP is still alive. I don't think so. The online support. This is Monique Kishen, the general. He's tweeting here. Driving to NPA was just a political stunt. Is the opposition seeing this to be a win for them? Do you think it was a political stunt, honestly? And I will get Pat George's reaction as well.
Political stunt on what? On the CPP?
No. Monique Kishen, you had a tweet he put in here, driving the president going to NPA or going to those warehouses today. He is saying it's a political stunt. Do you agree with him?
Mr. So,
or is that how the opposition is going to do there? Should they be thinking on their strategy, how they're going to do it if they were to send to power?
Mr. So, many of these people are political novice. They don't know much about politics. And so they jump in when they know they're not supposed to. And our first thing is this. The young man, Mr. Gay, was talking about statistic and data and what have you. Look, you and I were in Liberia, and since I've been back, my tune has changed because what I saw there it make me to believe that these people are quite on board. I used to say they don't have this, they can't do this. When I got there, they have it. There's data, I bet you. They have data, but they just don't. This is what gives me problem with this government and past government. They just cannot produce these things for people to actually go on with it. I'll give you an example, Mr. So, before I go on back to the topic. You know why I was in Liberia. So we asked the ministry for some previous job program, and they were dragging their feet. So I was under the impression they don't have it. And then out of a sudden, once they agree, they dump everything on us. They have those things. They just don't want. Sometimes I don't know what it is. But let me go back to this young man and the general statement. Now, you can say what you want to say. You can characterize the president visit as anything.
Go ahead.
Anything you want. It really doesn't matter to me. What I want people to understand is this: the president was there today, which I think we all should appreciate. The president was there today to assure the Liberian people that this is so serious. Normally, I don't go to the kind of, you don't see me around, but this is so serious. I'm here. Follow more. Look at the rice. Excuse me. Look at the rice around. We have enough, I would say. Second thing, the president's statement was the price of rice will not be increased. You might call it photo op, whatever you want to call it. It really doesn't matter. The main thing here is the president made a stand. And not only did he make a stand, the fact that he was in our White House, all of the importers that are in Liberia responsible for bringing rice in Liberia, most likely they have already had their meeting. And they also are going to be very careful not to be seen as being collusion with each other, colliding with each other to go and sell rice on a market that is not supposed to be. So this thing is not done yet. It's evolving. What I'm saying to many of my brothers and sisters that are listening, let's give this president the opportunity, the chance for him to break his own neck, if Liberian people would say. And the way you do that, the president went to the White House today, make a statement. Let's see tomorrow, day after tomorrow. If this thing is not being resolved, then perhaps we can say, but the president was there. He made a statement. How come now? We don't even know the president. Whether the president has a meeting with the Commerce Ministry, whether the Commerce Ministry refused to, they don't have no data. We don't know that. You want the president to run his government
Mr.
on
So,
Facebook?
Mr. So,
Dr. We have to run his government on Facebook. Is that what you guys want? He's not going to do that.
Mr.
I don't
let me
want
tell
any
you,
government to run their
Mr.
government
Mr.
to run their affair on Facebook. So please, if you guys want to sit here and be a money quarterback and want to guess everything, please enjoy yourself. But what I can say, you're like, you're hard to deal with.
Let me tell you, Mr.
Really, really hard to deal with.
Let me tell you, if you want to run total like that, that's fine. Okay?
Oh, no.
If you want to run total like that, you get the money, just tell me, you go brush your bush. You go clean the road. That's how you're going to do it there. Go there, why you stay cheap. The president went to the free port. What were the purpose of the trip? The people are seeing no rest in the country. He went there to show rice. He said the price will not go up. What I'm saying that I did not hear from the president, with this worldwide inflation, maybe in California, as a labor state, maybe the government paying all your taxes, so your own, your food, your gas price are not going. But I know they told me some people paying $7 or $8 for gas in California. That is the cost of inflation, and it is affecting every country. Liberia get rice from India. I think some people got it. Some get it from China and other places. All the places are suffering from inflation. Prices of the commodity going up. If the president is saying what I'm saying, how the rice price will not go up, did he tell you? Or secondly, why the rice is not on the market?
All right.
Did he tell you? Did the Minister of Commerce ever come up to say why rice is not on the market? The commodity can be available, but the affordability, that is, how many people can afford to buy it? You're not addressing that. The government did not address that. The only said one general statement, the price of rice will not go up. Is that statement enough to convince you?
All right, let me go to the line, and so we can have our audience. I'm just only concerned what prompted this. Somebody must answer question to the executive and to the Liberian people. But let's go to the lines and get the reactions from our viewers, followers in Liberia, and online us as well. 347 number 33 48. Good evening, caller. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Good evening, Mr. Tool. I'm Fred Dennis Nabe. I'm calling from the state of New York.
Mr. Nabe, welcome. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. First of all, Mr. Tool, I want to commend you. Your show is one of the best shows in the history of Liberia. You speak to the issue. To the topic of this discussion, the president visiting the port today, I consider it as a big bluff. And I listened to the president. He made any remark that when he took over Niue, he met the rest here, and they had an agreement that the rest press was never going to go up. From which background? The modern day society that we're in, team prices are going up. Then you, the president, you coming up to say that, oh, this commodity will never go up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a big bluff. This president is insensitive to the plight of the Liberian people. We're talking about rest. People are dying in the country. The 4 auditors, those kids that died, the president kept quiet.
So, Mr. Namwe.
Just recently, President Kopo died. The president hasn't come out to say something.
Okay, Mr. Namwe.
So-called politicians.
Mr. Namwe.
The communists. Yeah.
Okay, hold on there one. I like how you cut it law a. Princess, whoever died, the president didn't show up. Now the president show up today. So can you give it to him?
No.
Oh, wow.
I cannot give it to him. This president must go. This president, he doesn't need this. Everything that president doing in our country, he just well washing. Hello.
Yeah, we're listening.
Yeah, this president is just well washing. Since President Kopo died, the Waka, the commies, the Nyongri, none of them are ever come out to say something.
Oh, the Grana say for any of the people.
Power. Rest, we agree rest is our stable food. But security is paramount. Our people are dying.
Okay.
If you eat rice today, you're not secure. What become of you? I mean, that's serious, man.
Why?
The president need to go.
Let me ask you. You there for me in Liberia?
Who, me?
Yeah.
If I have fun in Liberia?
Yeah.
I have fun in Grand Crew.
In Grand Crew? Which part? So
in Grand Crew. The president knows me very well. We're from Grand Crew, from Sasa. He knows me very well.
Is that something personal or it's just something about your country?
It's not personal. We are as my own friend and brother who grew up together. I supported him in 2005. I supported him. But for the day we have took over, he started building condominium. He brought Nigeria there, and then Nigeria there, our election commission chair. It was so good that he was rejected at the confirmation hearing. Therefore, he doesn't need business.
Okay.
He didn't go.
Yeah, but there's a process. You can't just go like that. He was
there's a process.
Effective campaign, put a ceasing message in place.
5 years now. Where is the chief?
No, that's not what I'm saying. But Mr. Namwe, there was a process. He did not hijack the process. He participated in it.
The process is getting through.
Okay.
He needs to go.
No, he finished. They're not election time here, my man. So we can't say you can't just say you need to go.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but I understand.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toll, for having me on the show.
Okay, thank you so much. My goodness, he need to go. We're in trouble in our country. People want it happen like this, automatic, like sort of magic, something. Okay, let me go to the number and I'll come back to my guys here. 484 number 753. And then 233. Wow, what's the last number? 7. Caller, good evening. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hey, Alfonso, how are you? This is Sam Livingstone.
Mr. The Living Livingstone. So, good evening and welcome.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. And thank you, Mr. Tor, Samson Tor, and Mr. Alfonso So. I just want to throw a light on the topic on the discussion.
Absolutely.
I mean, Alfonso, it is so sad to see people who have not traveled to Liberia, and they are very, very vindictive. Like the brother that just spoke, he just angry within himself. I mean, President Weah is not responsible for his life. Okay, people sit here in America. You can't even buy plane ticket to go to Liberia, but they will sit here and just talk and just say things that are out of place. I mean, without knowledge. You sit down, you say, oh, the president has to go. And you sit there right here in New York. Probably maybe somewhere in Staten Island or somewhere maybe you came from working in the crew room. So you behaving like those with developmental disability.
Come on, Livingstone.
But if the man working Google like that,
you train the stone in the glass how to break everybody's head. Go ahead.
Yeah, come here, Mr. So. You have the other one of your guests on your show, the older men that are on the show over there that is laughing, that saying, oh, the president went to the warehouse, and the man making little remark and he laughing. For God's sake, I don't know if this fellow ever worked in government before. And if he worked in government,
never.
Livingstone. His contribution to Liberia.
What is your contribution to Liberia?
What are his contributions to Liberia? And when was the last time he was in Liberia?
No, we know Liberia passed on there, yes.
Or so. You were there for almost 2 months. I saw Mr. Samson Tour when he arrived. He was in Liberia. He went as far as Grand Peter. And this old man telling Samson Tour, Mr. Tour, that is that how you're going to run total and this, that? Wow. I mean, why are they so angry?
Just address the issue. Don't worry about Samson Tour.
No, I'm not talking about Mr. Tour.
No, I mean the old man, Mr. Joy.
I'm just telling. No. I know I've been to
Liberia. But anyway, make your point. Let's see. So,
I'm talking about Livingstone.
What I'm trying to say here is something. Let us give this president. Let us give him a chance. This man, he is doing what he's supposed to do for the Liberian people. Look at our country since we got our.
So Sam, when you say give the president a chance, what could be an ideal time? Because I've been hearing this thing for quite a little while now.
Get kidding myself with the comments.
Something talking with our soundbite here. What could be the ideal time you think?
Okay, thank you very much. This man just took power. This is his 4th year. Okay, that we in, and on his leadership, the development that have taken place under the leadership of George Manawia. There's no president in the history of Liberia for 4 years to achieve what this president has achieved. But people are just angry.
Such as
the roads,
okay,
market building, the military hospital, okay, paying wire fees for students, the University of Liberia, and you need it.
Okay.
Okay, you went to Liberia, you saw some of the feeder roads. You saw some of the roads that this government is undertaking. But they are not talking about the developmental aspect of the country. They only there to criticize.
Thank you so much, the Livingstone. Okay. All right. If you have time, come here to see. I mean, people are crying. We have Mr. Professor Zavlo there, but he's occupying the official position now, so we can't something. So hopefully, maybe the leadership can also have a representation here, then we'll love to do that. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right. Okay. The politics of Liberia is very personal to people, you know.
I tell you, I was there enjoying the comments. I just been reading all the comments.
People political attachment is hard to undo it. Because that's something they hold to the core belly. So this is how we're not going to do. We're not going to be questioning people's views, their opinion yet. With the last few minutes here, let's have a talking point here. What is the way forward? What should the government be doing now to avoid what has happened? I don't like to manage crisis. And overall, those who also want to position themselves as leader, we are not talking much about them. Samson Tour came here and said, I was one of those. He ignored the basic principles of democracy to allow the process to play out. Instead, he was on this network. He's on this network, become the big conspirator to say, oh, this person will go on and this person will do this. What sort of method he's doing, I don't know. Should we be asking them as well, what is their long-term goal? What is their specific plan? This should shift the conversation now in our podcasts, in our conversation. Let me see what Philadelphia have to say, and then you guys will pick it up from there. Okay, not Philadelphia, actually. 214 number. Are you there, caller? Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from? Caller, are you there?
I'm here, Mr. Phone.
Okay, good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Brian David, calling you from Chicago, Illinois.
Okay, go ahead. What's your point?
The issue of the right business, many times, we were Nigerian people, some of us are left from Nigeria not too long. They right business that bring the we are for it. We ourselves to be able to bring ourselves. I was in Boston, I worked in Boston for 15 years. And we were there doing early time when SFO went down there and just to give us key rights to the citizens. So be able, I mean, when they give a bag of rice, a bag of tea, right? The following year that you will be able to get a rice back.
Okay.
And the rice at the SFO just to be there in that, it was people sat down and they ate the rice, they were not able to be on the rice. I'm a member of your party, but the father, the matter here.
Oh, wait. Joseph Boyka Party?
I'm a member of Joseph Boyka Party. But the father, the matter here, we cannot go the person for it and ensure the responsible for the race in there. One of the reasons here is what are we been doing? We know what that is our stable food. But how many Nigerians are you seeing them making fun? But many times we'll find the international community, then they come king. And not America will not king Nigeria. We ourselves are to change ourselves. So if we know that race is very important to all the people are aware, they can give us right for to be able to manage ourselves. It is very hard for to manage ourselves. And my second point in the discussion tonight concerning AMD and Spanish County. My second point here is that the reason why many of us were supporting the collaboration is Joseph Boyka from the private sector and coming from the private sector. So looking at the two companies, two people that are big friends for the school day, and you put the two people together to work together, will see better results for our country.
Oh, that's your calculation.
That was my calculation. And the reason why when we first started our fair, that I prepared for coming to where it has because looking at coming from the party, and the majority vote for CDC can come to the party. And you two coming to run directly as an independent candidate, you may not have much vote for South East and get the best support because the entire South East is a place that we are getting higher vote for. And the still one of there, looking at Musability, using Musability is the citizen of Nigeria. But which are the countries that Musability from Nima? The Musability run their party, they lower their party for politics in Nigeria that they will say that he had influence over Bambata. Bambata, they were out work for 15 years. When you talk about Liberty Party, when it comes to voting in Bambata, the only that are going there to vote, they don't ask for Liberty Party. They ask for Glenview, they ask for the moon, that the people of Liberty Party. So it is next question.
Okay. Before I let you go, yeah. So all of these people you were putting for this sort of analogy you are making, you didn't ask them what they have to offer for the country because they were classmates, corporates, and that was the basis of your judgment.
No, we're not only my business. The reason being, I'm not a Spanish community, very complicated. But the fact that the matter is you are getting a rate because we're not.
Yeah, yes. You gotta lower your monitor.
Are you getting me?
Yeah. Go ahead quickly. 30 seconds.
I'm not a business, very complicated. But what my fear lies is which one is country really depending on the get vote.
Oh, who?
Mr. Cummings, that was one of my points. I'm not fully aware that he is competent enough to lead a country. But if you put the Cummings and John Weir in a red manner, so we will terminate big Cummings because of what?
Absolutely not.
What percentage of vote that John Weir won?
At least a bit.
All right, thank you so much.
One of my reasons.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay. No, let Yeah, 30 seconds. I gotta go. Yeah.
Yes, before I conclude, I was talking about motor benefit do not have each a grand battle. So things work in grand battle. So if somebody depend on motor benefit, say, oh, that motor benefit maybe the win. That means it depends on broken state.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. All right. That's the last caller here. The General Kishan, go ahead quickly before I go
What's
to
up, hi, man, and hello to all.
Good evening.
You know, I
Welcome.
don't like to do this, but I think I have to do it. The guy who just left, I think we need to sometimes educate these people. I'm very sorry. When you're talking about politicians, don't have a base, don't have a county. It proving to us that Joe Barker got a county and he won one county out of 15 counties and still never won the election. So even Mr. Cummings can win Maryland 10 times and still will not give him the presidency. If you're running for president of Liberia, your duty and responsibility is go to all the counties. So don't ask the question, which are the county he will win for him to be president. Look at that kind of concern. And you're talking about ability to go to Basel, to do what's in Basel. Liberty Party is not Grand Basel. Liberty Party is all over the country. You got 15 counties. It's not a must that you win all the counties. The biggest thing is to get 50 plus 1% of the vote. But Liberian people need to know this thing. And when we talk about peers, they don't talk about counties. Most of the people, they talk about the Constitution, they say, listen, I got the young people behind me because the young people in Grand Bassa County face the same problem with the young people in Monrovia. Oh, I got a working class behind me. I got this other group of folk behind me. When you're running for president, you don't worry about counties. You got to go to all the counties. And now, for the record, Mr. Cummings took second place in 2017. Second to George, you are the most popular man in the country. That's a plus to come second to George. We are the man who's so popular that even with Mr. Barker right in his backyard in Bopolu. So if Mr. Cummings can come second in Maryland County, where he never lived before, only his father came from there, it's a plus. We need to start this thing for Liberia to develop. We need to put Liberia first and forget about the county and travel business. So that's it. Okay, let me just talk about the rice business. You see, I beg you, and the whole rice thing, I would not blame the government for the rice. But you see, when you lie too much to the people, you're afraid to tell the people the truth. The business people got this rice. They want to increase the price because the tariff, the taxes they put on there is too much. They cannot sell this rice to the retailer for $13.50. So tell the people the truth. Come up, but you see the budget they put together, most of the money that's supposed to support that budget coming from tariff, coming from taxes. Now they're stuck. There's nothing. Next month might be worse than this. The president going to Freeport to me, just a political stunt. Call these rice importers and sit with them, talk to them, say, how can we help? What is the problem? You understand? Gas price going up, everything is going, price is going to go up high. So let them stop doing this thing. But because they lied to Liberian people so much, and that is in the president interview today, he said the pro-poor rice is still in the country and it's in the counties. The counties don't have no problem. Why the president should say that? Why did you say that? I bought a rice for $21 for my mom in Liberia. That's why I said, no, you don't have to buy the rice from here and ship it to you guys. $21 to pay for the rice. But you can't see the rice. The rice is there, but you can't find it because the people, they can't sell the rice for that price. I'm not going to blame the government, but as the government now, stop lying to these people, man. Stop lying. So I would say 2023 coming is wrapping up too much more. It's not going nowhere. We're going to be 2023. And let me start talking about ability and ANC, the ANC and Liberty Party, we are all collaborators and we are the strongest right now. Whether it's for next year or not, we'll go on and take the CDB.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, all right, let's go back to the guys. Those are the final callers. Those are views and opinions expressed here. This phone line is off for the minute. Okay, gentlemen, are you there?
Yeah. We here. Okay. I've been enjoying the comment section. There's good comments in there.
Yeah, so the Liberal.
Yeah, Mr. So.
The Liberal has somebody to come. The Liberal somebody came to her rescue.
Yeah, somebody came to the Liberal rescue. I think it was out of contact.
Livingston came to her rescue. He said,
yeah, they said,
I told Mr. Toto go to Tota.
I said there's no bar bush for a child. You can't throw people away, you know.
Let me just say this just to all three of you. Livingstone, in terms of making serious policy change in Liberia, Livingstone stand a better chance than all three of you combined. You all three have no voting right. You guys cannot vote in Liberia. Livingstone can vote. Livingstone can.
You don't
change.
know that I have voting rights.
I do know that. If any of you have voting
when
rights,
I went 2019, I registered. I got voting
yeah,
card.
you don't have no voting right because now next time you go to Liberia, we'll ask for your long form birth certificate. That's what we're gonna do to you.
I got my voting card.
You come to go to Liberia and pollute for a voting system over there. We're not gonna allow that. We're not gonna allow that. So let me just say that to all three of you, you got no voting right. Livingstone does. But let me say this here. Let me say this here again. And I hate to do this because I am not a sedition, and I don't pretend to be. I'm a Liberty Party USA, and all of you know this. But here's the thing that I keep saying tonight, and I will continue to say. If this government, in fact, most of you have, if any of you have followed my show, I have an opening. We will criticize, but we will do so with responsibility. We will criticize, but we will do so with respect. Because the president that sits in there tonight, yes, you might say, well, I don't like him. I want him out. But why is somebody else sit in that you like? Is that when you want people to respect the office?
But nobody abusing him.
Respect it. And Mr. Central Right, the liberal is speaking. Please, let me done. You can't not just interrupt. This is not Banana Republic we're talking about. This is not Guinea, by the way. This is the Republic of Liberia that we're talking about. This is not Ivory Coast where they're keeping a great compliance over there in Ivory Coast. This is not Ivory Coast. This is Liberia we're talking about. A law and order country. So let me just say this. Let me just tell you this. The issue here.
Don't read a comment. Just go ahead.
Mr. Central Right, let me finish my statement. The point here is this. The point that I'm making here is this. If the president having to do something that is right, let's say it. Even if you don't think your supporter will want that, be truthful and be truthful as it is. The president we've been saying all along, and many of us, including myself, little stuff. Well, why is the president? We don't even hear him. Now there's an emergency situation. Liberians are scared. They're going to run out of rice. They're calling family members all over the place. The president took upon himself to show for once, if you don't even agree with it, to show for one leadership when he has gone to the place and said, yeah, I am. I'm in a warehouse. Liberian people, you look at me. Yeah, all the rice around me. Not only that, he came out and said the rice price in this country will now go up.
Never. Not.
I don't care
never.
whatever word he used. Whatever word.
But you're not being truthful.
Okay, never. Okay, whatever. I wasn't quoting him. Now I'm quoting you. The president said, according to Mr. George, he never. So even if he used the word never, here's the issue here. The president most likely, as a leader, he already put into place some sort of a strategy to deal with this, because the president is not going to go to the barracks and bring army to Mr. So don't cut me off, please. You can't do this. You're going to give people more time. So let me finish my point. The president is not going to go to the barracks and call the police or the army people to come and enforce for the people to sell rice. He's not going to do that because that's not what he does. Number one. Second thing, before I take leave of both of you here tonight, I'm not here for kumbaya, by the way. So, Mr. So, you want to cut me out here? Please do so. You're not going to bamboozle me into accepting your central right and your conservative view. That's not what I do. The president come out to say what he wants to say. Let's give him the opportunity to say next time, tomorrow, day after, to say what is happening. The president is running a country. They have cabinet ministers. After he made a statement now, he's going to come back, I hope. And I'm not too sure. I'm just saying. But let's give him an opportunity. Bring the cabinet minister, see what's going on. Let's do what we can to make sure no price of rice goes up in this country. What the statement the president made? Never. He has also put his cabinet. He has put a cabinet on the mark to say whatever you do, no rice price goes up in this country. Not while I'm president. And that is Dr. Weir. I say so.
I say so, something told from total time. Okay, what a long monologue. All right, no interruption, nothing. We're going to be going. So fair enough. Let me start with Gay. Gay, take your own what? 1 minute 30 seconds or 2 minutes because we
Mr.
got to wrap
Sogi,
it.
the Liberal Progressive just went 5
Yeah.
minutes on anyway.
Well, I'm the time. I'm the timekeeper. That one makes him liberal.
No
We got to
problem.
wrap up now. So, but yeah, make your point, and I'll go to Mr. George.
Yeah,
Because the closing remark, I want us to also make a recommendation.
Is this my closing now?
No, I'm just saying after that there will be
okay.
a mini recommendation. So go ahead quickly.
So, Mr. So, what are we saying here? And I listened to the callers as well, and I've been reading the comments. There are very interesting comments in there. I know we can't go into all of them, but I mean, Liberians are very engaged with the whole circumstances. A caller mentioned that they were giving sea rice to people. If people don't have food to eat, definitely that sea rice will be that food. Look, we spoke about, President, we are building houses in the rural area, and take a man from the mud house and put it in a concrete house with no food. You just changed the main location. That's all you did. The condition still remains. Look, Mr. So, I'm a farmer in Liberia. Somebody wrote, if I'm a farmer, you want to know my square footage of farm or all the different things. I'm a farmer in Liberia. I tested the soil. I know what we have. Look, that's why Mr. Cummings has a clear plan, a 6 years term plan for Liberia to be food sufficient. That means we will not import rice. We will only import rice by choice if we want certain kind of rice. But Liberia will be food sufficient. 6 years plan in that 5 minutes video. So look, there is a plan, there is a way forward. Liberia possesses up to 46% of the rainforest in West Africa. That means Liberia can also benefit from something called CO2, carbon emission. The air in Liberia is good for environmental purpose. We're not getting money from it. The reason why we're struggling today, the CDC-led government heard Mr. Cummings saying he will raise the national budget to $1 billion United States dollars and up to $2 billion. Did they understand what was behind those numbers? So they projected a national budget that had $146 million in it, which is credit, borrowed money. Recent time, they just received $40 million from the World Bank. 20 million is grant. Okay. 20 million also is loan. We don't know what the interest rate on that loan is. We also received $230 million cash emergency credit card, I would say, an emergency loan when President Weah came to office in the second year.
Okay, so
those are things that are dangerous for Liberia. We don't know the interest rate on all the different loans, and you have a national budget that is $780 billion and have a $145 million. That number is correct now. I misspoke when I said 146, but 145. Right. $146 million as a loan.
Let's leave it.
Dangerous for our nation. We gotta be serious about how we can move our country forward. And that statement by Mr. Livingstone that President we have done more than all the president, that's false. We cannot have that happening on this platform. Thank you.
Mr. So, I know Liberian politics will become very attacked, very emotional. When we are very passionate about people that we support. And sometimes we allow our emotion to take over the issue. So this is what happened. Mr. Livingstone, I have not been to Liberia for the past 20 years, so I want you to help me to buy my ticket to go. Then of course, that will give me a good idea so I can go and assess what we are doing. So when I come back, I will be able to present a better picture. Here's the thing here. President Weah went to the port, brilliant idea. I will come back. What is the message to the Liberian people? Right there. Then he talked about the price today that, hey, the rest outside today is 39.50 cents. Did he talk about anything? He just said the price will never go up. Okay, but why the price will not go and it's not on the market? Where is the common minister to speak to the Liberian people? Look, people don't like some of the things when we talk to someone because they say we hash on the government, but that is the reality. We all talk about data because everything now is based on record, data. We have enough rice that we got 2 metric tons or 6 metric tons of rice here. It will last us for the next 6 months. The dealer, because what I thought the government should have done was first to call in the dealership and say, hey, we are hearing this rumor. What happened? Do you people have enough rice? Yes. But why is it not available on the market? If that was done, then as you said, Mr. There should be a press release to inform the public. Based on we have had a meeting based on this is what we have reached, and the rest will be available at this price.
All right. So,
but nothing was done because you just went there, okay. But if you people had a meeting, what in the back door, the conclusion you have reached, the Liberian people must be informed.
okay,
And if it is not
gentlemen.
done so, then someone have problem with it.
Okay. The clock, the old man on the wall now, time has caught up with me. But this is what we're going to do it. 30 seconds USA time. I'm not saying Liberia time. I'm not saying total time. 30 seconds. Now, we have pointed out all of the shortfalls, what the government should have done, what the government should have not done. So we didn't have the chance to talk to about the opposition. We're definitely going to find the time here. But let's, in the interest of Liberianization policies and African solidarity, let's take 30 seconds here, make recommendation, and let's pretend that these recommendations will be accepted by the government in good faith. I'm not talking about partisan recommendation where that the government would not, no, not the ANC, the Liberty Party USA, the ANC supporters, sympathizers sort of recommendation. I'm talking about recommendation that is in the interest. 30 seconds, Gay. What can you suggest to this government? How you think they should have done it differently?
When Minister Samuel Tua came to Philadelphia, I went to the town hall and I proposed to Minister. I even asked a question: which government ministry or government agency can we submit our agricultural proposal? He said, "Oh, young man, this is a great idea. I think we're going to create a portal to put in there." I did a follow-up up to this time. Even when the president went to Bunkande and proposed a $16 million into agriculture, yada, yada, yada. I reach out and say, what is the eligibility status or requirement for us, we the farmers in Liberia to apply? Oh, go on the agricultural website, agriculture ministry website, all the different things we tried, nothing happened. Look,
okay.
If Liberia invests into agriculture for the next 3 to 5 years, it will boost not just the agricultural sector, it will boost education, it will boost health sector and all the different things. Mr. So, we eat rice 24/7. We need to invest in rice. So every Liberian deserves a better Liberia, and that's what I cannot wait for Mr. Cummings to roll out his plan for 6 years that we will eradicate this problem so Liberia will be food sufficient. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Mr. George.
Yeah, one.
Some says, hold on one second, don't run. Some say you get a very extreme voice. You don't like the president. You don't like Joseph Boyka, for which you and the liberal are not friends, first and foremost. That he is here. He's living Westness today. What's the recommendation? Are you willing to recommend to this government? Pretend that they will take it.
Mr. So, first recommendation, one, open up the market. Identify potential Liberians. I'm not just saying I can't bring rest, no. Identify potential Liberians that will have the resources to bring in this commodity, and there should be a memorandum of understanding. If you cannot bring it in this time, you are out.
Yeah.
That's one. Second, let there be data from the importers to show how much quantity of rice they bring in, how long that rice going to last for. And if there is a price, is there a shock into the international market, let the government be informed ahead of time so they can try to arrest that situation before it gets out of hand. Those will be 3 recommendations.
3 recommendations. Lord, the kingdom is about to come down on us. Let's go through. He's going through his dossier so that I don't know what are you going to give. Good advice to CDC. I don't know what are you going to give. maybe to Alexander Cummings. Let me bring the liberal to progressive. The liberal, you've been very moderate in your tone here to try to make the conversation more or less proportional to giving it up what is due to the presidency. Let's wrap it up here this evening. Pretend you're talking to Nathaniel Falamagi because he's the right-hand guy of the president, or benevolent dictator Samuel Toure. What can you tell them? I know my man, he's listening here this evening. What can you tell them? What you want them to do in the war room of the president right now?
First of all, I don't intend to talk to Samuel Toure or Honorable McGee because these people believe they're better than any other person. So I don't. Number one. The other one I want to say here is if the president is listening and you're going to take advice from the center right and Mr. Cummings, then you're wasting your time. That's all I can say. But let me just say, I don't have advice to the president or any of the government officials, Mr. So, because I'm waiting.
Oh, you get Mr. Cummings.
I will address the issue at another day. I'm waiting because I've already.
Is that Anthony that Mr. Cummings now?
Yes.
You are so divisive.
Yes.
Wow.
I'm not here to pull punches. There's no Kumba here for me. He's coming. I'm not gonna go touch that one. But let me just say this. I'm waiting. I will wait and see what the president, his staff will do. The president, I know he's able to run this thing. And so if something like this is a very serious stuff that can have all of the other stuff, the person killed this person, like this is much more will be much more detrimental to Dr. Weah presidency than anything else. And I know President Weah is quite aware of it. So he's going to take care of it, but I'm not going to do anything right now. I will wait and see. Let me do this here on my time, Mr. So. I'll read this here. And it's just this is what I'm going to be doing on Friday. I'm going to be reading the eulogy that was put forward by Dr. Famler for Dr. Sawyer. And I'm a progressive. So I do tend to run into the progressive bosom from time to time. Let me read it. They brought you home finally, Claus, man of vision and weight, philosopher of paradigm and concept, leader of man, a fusion of the best and the brightest, a great and noble African, human citizen of your people and republic. You have come home to rest forever in the bosom of the motherland. And we who know you and follow you will now take our final bow. It's going to be very interesting this coming Friday. I want people to join me. I'm going to go and read this thing. It's a lot of stuff here that, and if you know Dr. Formula writing, you know when he writes, he doesn't write small. So I'll be reading this, and I'll also have a internet dictionary here where I will go and make reference to some of these words so that people will be able to understand what it is. But it's very interesting reading. And there are some very important new information about the inside of Dr. Famler and Dr. Sawyer that I also going to be talking about. So I want people to join me, and I think Mr. George will be my co-host.
They are going to be in chaos. You're asking George to
wait, let me ask you, Bloku.
Yes.
Are you related to the Famulers?
No.
He's starting trouble. He's not.
But I admire their political endurance. Let's put it that way. This man, when he was young, his father was put in jail and trial. You saw me doing the formula trial for weeks. So I do admire that, and I'm a progressive. I'm a progressive.
I just asked you because you got interested.
Part of the argument we're having here tonight, the progressive are the one that gave you this one man, one vote. Please, let's bow.
I'm not ready. I am not prepared to relegate this conversation here, gentlemen.
I tell you that conversation. I
want to thank you so much. I think there's some sort of redemption for the liberal here tonight. Yeah, Charles saying, no, that's not. Somebody said, okay, yeah, this is the same Shia. For the first time, Mr. Toll, to speak fairly and honestly, the guy he going to sleep like a baby tonight. Believe me, when we get up this show here, he will be busting my phone line. You see what Shah said, Shah, you put me in a double trouble here. Gentlemen, I want to thank you so much to our viewers and listeners. Your tweets, your comments, your engagement here is quite fascinating. Ambassador Turret, welcome. Thank you. It's better late than never. And I'm ex-Tori, Duarot, and all of these great people. I told you we need to take this thing from the hands of the politician. Joseph Boyka can't help it. Benena Yure
But
can't
by the way, I have a song.
Something you are
Hold
interrupting.
on, Mr. So I have a song that was sung by the bird. And this song say Joseph Baka, capable. Joseph Baka, capable. I will play that song and people will listen to it. It's a song that, seriously, a bird, where I was staying, I brought a bird that used to be on the tree. Joseph Baka, capable. Joseph Baka, capable. That's the song I'm going to be playing. And you will hear it.
You
And
hear
you
the
will
news, Mr.
enjoy it.
So. Mr. Toad, the Liberal Progressive, you didn't hear the news, right?
So,
okay.
So, gentlemen, so we're going to
thank you,
let me
and
just
good
do
night
it
to
this
all of
way
you.
here.
JMB,
Let me do it this way. I think I gotta
You
go.
can't use the UP name.
I gotta go. Let me do it this way here. I think we all have to make a recommendation to national government. I don't want my government to fail, whether I support or not, because it puts pressure on us. So I think it's time for them to revisit the budget, because gasoline to rise, these are all national security issues, instability. They should make a provision and fund these business to importers that they have been doing business with, and there can be some sort of contingency plan on the part of government. We saw what happened here when the home crisis came into play. Government bailed these people out. Whatever they gave, it just didn't go away. It didn't fly through the window. They were able to give it back. That's how you do things to stabilize. I hope the government and those in the authority are having these close conversation here. Until then, I'm Alfonso Z, and so thank you so much for your time, and by God's willing, we will be right back here again for more community and national engagement. Thank you so much. Have a pleasant night.
Spread of denial, spread of depression. Let it go back. Oh, I'm tired. I can go and go. If you're picking, take your chemo. Let it go. Your best friend, take your husband. Let it go. If your wife said we are not compatible, let it go. Your husband say you're not my type, just let it go.